Not a day goes by except that you do righteous deeds on their behalf, even when they're alive. You don't wait until they die. You could do it while they're alive and give the reward to them. We've got the wrong end of the stick. When a child is obeying their parents and obeying what they command them to do, they think they are the best. La, you're doing the minimum.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون أولئك أصحاب الجنة خالدين فيها جزاء بما كانوا يعملون ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه إحسانا حملته أمه كرها ووضعته كرها وحمله وفصاله 30 شهرا حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه وأصلح لي في ذريتي إني تبت إليك وإني من المسلمين أولئك الذين نتقبل عنهم أحسن ما عملوا ونتجاوز عن سيئاتهم في أصحاب الجنة وعد الصدق الذي كانوا يوعدون والذي قال لوالديه أف لكما أتعدانني أن أخرج وقد خلت القرون من قبلي وهما يستغيثان الله ويلك آمن إن وعد الله حق فيقول ما هذا إلا أساطير الأولين أولئك الذين حق عليهم القول في قد خلت من قبلهم من الجن والإنس إنهم كانوا خاسرين ولكل درجات مما عملوا وليوفيهم أعمالهم وهم لا يظلمون ويوم يعرض الذين كفروا على النار أذهبتم طيباتكم في حياتكم الدنيا واستمتعتم بها فاليوم تجزون عذاب الهون بما كنتم تستكبرون في الأرض بغير الحق بما كنتم تستكبرون في الأرض بغير الحق وبما كنتم تفسقون واذكر أخا عاد إذ أنذر قومه بالأحقاف وقد خلت النذر من بين يديه ومن خلفه ألا تعبدوا إلا الله إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم قالوا أجئتنا لتأفكنا عن آلهتنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين قال إنما العلم عند الله وأبلغكم ما أرسلت به ولكني أراكم قوما تجهلون فلما رأوه عارضا مستقبل أوديتهم قالوا هذا عارض ممطرنا بل هو ما استعجلتم به ريح فيها عذاب أليم تدمر كل شيء بأمر ربها فأصبحوا لا يرى إلا مساكنهم كذلك نجزي القوم المجرمين ولقد مكناهم في ماء مكناكم فيه وجعلنا لهم سمعا وأبصارا وأفئدة فما أغنى عنهم سمعهم ولا أبصارهم ولا أفئدتهم من شيء إذ كانوا يجحدون بآيات الله وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون ولقد أهلكنا ما حولكم من القرى وصرفنا الآيات لعلهم يرجعون فلولا نصرهم الذين اتخذوا من دون الله قربانا آلهة بل ضلوا عنهم وذلك إفكهم وما كانوا يفترون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أيها الإخوة, we recited a number of verses from Surat Al-Ahqaf in the Salah. But in this reflection, inshaAllah ta'ala, there's only perhaps one or two or three verses that I want to focus on, inshaAllah ta'ala, out of those verses that were recited. At the beginning of the ayat that were recited, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Verily those who said, our Lord is Allah, and then they were steadfast upon that, there's no fear upon them, and they shall not grieve. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells us that those individuals, they are the inhabitants of Jannah, as a reward for what they used to do in this world. And then straight after that, Allahu Jalla fi'ula, He says that we have advised man to be dutiful and kind and to treat his parents well. His mother, she carried him in a state of hardship and weakness, and she also gave birth to him in the same state. And the pregnancy and breastfeeding him, it was 30 months until he grows older and he gets to the age of 40, and he says, my Lord, allow me to be grateful to you for the blessings that you have bestowed upon me and my parents, and so that I do righteous deeds that you are pleased with, and rectify for me my offspring, make them righteous as well. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He's telling us here in this verse the importance of this great relationship that we have with our parents. This is a great act of worship that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala ordained upon us. And there's no such thing as I've got to an age where I'm no longer dutiful or good to my parents. I've gone beyond that. There's no such thing as that. It's a lifetime until you meet Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala during their life and after their death. Rather, some of the ulama, they even say that true birr, it starts after their death. That is where the true test lies. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He tells us that the right of the parent, it is great. Where He Jalla wa Ala, He mentions it after His right. In the Quran, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has decreed that you do not worship any other Lord except Him, and that you are dutiful and kind to your parents. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has prohibited everything that leads to discontentment and the displeasure of the parents. It's a major sin. Rather, it is from the matters that brings down the wrath of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, His curse in this world. It is what hastens the punishment of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for you in this world before the hereafter. He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet Alaihi Salatu Wasallam, he tells in the hadith that the pleasure of Allah Jalla fi ula, it lies in the pleasure of the parents. رضا الله في رضا الوالدين وسخط الله في سخط الوالدين. The pleasure of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is in the pleasure of the parents. And the anger and wrath of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is in the anger of the parents. If your parents are not pleased with you, then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is not pleased with you. As simple as that. We live in a society that does not understand the importance of this matter. We live in a society that has completely made it the opposite. It is the parents that are treading around the children, trying to be careful around them, not to offend them, etc. The ulama, the salaf, they say that if you see an individual that his parents are cautious of the words that they say to him and they're cautious of the way they address him, know that he's an accursed individual. Why? Because it indicates al-uquq. The parents are afraid of his reaction, the evil that's going to come from him. Therefore, they are careful with him. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ told us from the signs of the hour. It is أن تلد الأمة ربتها, that the slave woman will give birth to her mistress or to her master. And the ulama, some of them, they say one of the meanings of this is that al-uquq will increase. The parents will be like the slaves. They'll be commanded and prohibited. It's from the signs of the hour that indicate that the hour is getting closer. If you look at the previous generations, how they were with their parents, it is exemplary. Rather, it is even when they had parents that were non-Muslim, who were upon shirk, they maintained a great relationship with them. Like Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu ardah. Abu Hurairah was extremely dutiful to his mother even though she was non-Muslim. He was very good to her. And all he wished was for her to embrace Islam. And he kept calling her to Islam. And she would refuse until one day she got agitated and she insulted Islam and the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu was extremely emotional. He got upset and he went to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, this happened, make dua for my mother. And the Prophet ﷺ made dua for the mother of Abu Hurairah. And he went home and she'd embrace Islam. Look how keen he was for her to receive this great blessing. We have been blessed with parents that are Muslimin, that even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not granted. The Prophet ﷺ, one day, he was with the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, and they came to a place as between Mecca and Medina known as Al-Abwa. And then he sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told the companions to wait for him, and he left them and he was gone for a little while. And after he was gone, he came back after a while and his face has changed and he looked very emotional. And the companions radiallahu anhum, they said, Ya Rasulullah, what is the matter? He said that I sought permission from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to visit the grave of my mother, and He granted me permission. And then I sought permission from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to seek forgiveness for my mother, and Allah denied me that. The Prophet ﷺ was denied that blessing. We have that blessing. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when He says to us, Anishkur li wa li walidayka ilayya al-masir, be grateful to me and your parents, and on behalf of your parents, and to me you shall return. Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, being grateful to Allah Azza wa Jal, it is that you perfect and observe the 5 daily prayers. And being grateful for your parents, it is that you make dua for them in these salahs and after them. Not a day goes by except that you do righteous deeds on their behalf, even when they're alive. Not only will you don't wait until they die, you could do it while they're alive and give the reward to them. And that's part of birr. Because dutifulness and be good to their parents, it is not doing what they ask you to do or command you to do. That is not al-birr. That's obligatory. Birr, it is to go out your way to do acts of kindness they didn't request from you. That is al-birr. We've got the wrong end of the stick. When a child is obeying their parents and obeying what they command them to do, they think they are the best. La, you're doing the minimum. The one who's bar is the one who goes out of their way to do extra acts they didn't request from him. He's trying to serve them and make them happy at all times. He puts their happiness before his happiness. That is al-birr. Usama ibn Zayd radiallahu anhu warda. One day, he possessed a very expensive, valuable palm tree, date tree. It was worth a lot. One day he realized that his mother, she desired a substance that's inside the trunk of the date tree. So what did he do? His mother never said it to him. He found out. He went to the tree and he was about to cut it. Those around him, they said to him, what are you doing? If you cut it, it will be worthless. He said, the pleasure of my parent, my mother, is more valuable to me than that. I'll sacrifice the dunya, anything valuable, to please my mother. Because that is what's going to get me the pleasure of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That's worth everything. It's worth absolutely everything. These are the matters that we need to instill into our children. It is the responsibility of the parents to teach their children these matters. What it means to be dutiful. Your child will not know how to be dutiful if you think by you letting certain things slide and letting go of certain things that are disrespectful and perhaps uquq, that you will be merciful to them. Certain parents, they think I'm being merciful to them and letting them get away with certain things because I don't want to be that extremely strict parent. La, you are teaching your children and leading them to a path of doom and destruction. And their children are going to be the same to them in the future as well. It's going to be an ongoing cycle because of your negligence. That tarbiyah element is very important. And it starts extremely young. That you teach your children the best etiquette, the best character. And they're not influenced by the society that they live in that's teaching them the worst mannerism when it comes to behaving with their parents, speaking to them in the rudest way. Rather, it goes as far as abusing the parents. Iyadhan billah. They need to know that this is where their Jannah lies, that the hereafter depends on it, that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, His pleasure depends on it, that if their parents are not pleased with them, that they are going to be punished without a speck of doubt. This needs to be drilled into the children. It's something that's being lost and fading away. The longer we stay in these countries, it is fading away, unfortunately. With many other things as well. That if we decide to start mentioning them today, we're going to be here all morning. Because our children, they're not only losing these Islamic ethics and mannerisms, but they're also losing their belief. And they are also losing their identity. And they are also losing their whole Islamic identity. Everything that they require in order to save themselves in this world, the next they're losing is fading away. Who is responsible for that? We are. It's not enough for me to just come to the masjid and Salat al-Fajr and I observe my obligations and I think I'm doing what's required for me, I'm fine. La, that is not sufficient. Rather, you're going to be questioned about those you're responsible for. You're going to be asked about them, and the questioning will not be easy if you did not fulfill their rights. It will be very difficult. Just like the children are required to fulfill the rights of the parents are required to fulfill the rights of their children. If you fall short in the rights of your children, know that they're going to fall short in your rights. It all starts with you. You are the one who decides how your children turn out based on your efforts while seeking assistance from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And constantly exerting your efforts, which is what most parents do, but sometimes these efforts they're directed towards the wrong direction. They're not prioritizing the matters that should be prioritized first. And that's extremely unfortunate. Do you expect your child when he gets to 15, all of a sudden he's going to start doing all the good things if you have not taught him from a young age? One of the ulama was asked that when should I start nurturing, giving that tarbiyah to my child? And then the Shaykh asked him, how old is your child? And he said he's like 2 years old. He said it's too late. You're too late. It starts with the mother you choose for him. That's where it starts. The mother who's going to nurture that child. Whilst he's in the womb of the mother, you are giving him tarbiyah. The children, they hear what's happening outside the womb, by the way. If they're hearing khair and goodness, that is what they're going to wake up to when they come to this world. What they see from the age of 0 all the way to the age of 4, it is what becomes them. That's who they become. They're observing everything. You only show them khair. You only say good things to them. You shield them from all evil. You teach them what's wrong and what's right. That is what they're going to become. Not when they at the age of 4, you think, I'm going to start teaching them now. It's too late. You're very late. These are very important things that we have to work a lot harder than anywhere else because of where we are. And the challenges are not getting any easier. They're getting more difficult and more difficult. We should, just like we are coming to Salat al-Fajr, we should be bringing our children to Salat al-Fajr. Because when are they going to learn to pray Salat al-Fajr in the masjid if I'm not bringing them to the masjid and teaching them that I should be praying Salat al-Fajr in the masjid? It is not you being merciful by looking at your child when it's a school day and saying, let him sleep because Fajr is very early, he has school later, or let him rest. That is not rahmah. You are destroying your child. It's not mercy. Mercy is you by waking him up, bringing him to the masjid, teaching him that the salah is the most important thing in his life. That he never ever abandons it. The relationship with Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, nothing is more important than that. That is mercy. That is true rahmah. You're saving him from the hellfire. And that's by you doing so, your children also become dutiful to you. And they're going to be the ones who carry on that legacy of dutifulness. So we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to protect us from these challenges and these fitan. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to grant us goodness in this world. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive our sins. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to have mercy upon us. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to make us from those who are dutiful to their parents. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to make our offspring dutiful to us. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to guide us and to increase us in guidance and to guide others through us. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to accept our deeds. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to grant us sincerity in our statements and actions. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to free our necks from the hellfire and to grant us Jannah fi Firdaus al-A'la. Innahu wali dhalika wal qadiru alayhi wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakumullah.
Barakallah feek, barakallah feek. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Jazahullahu khair al-jaza. Mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him greatly. MashaAllah, our beautiful Ustadh Yahya. We have missed him for a few, alhamdulillah, months, but now he's back. And alhamdulillah, we're delighted to have him, and especially to have him, MashaAllah, on Fajr Reflection. And yesterday he was here, alhamdulillah, he's going to be here tomorrow as well, inshaAllah ta'ala. And we will benefit from him and also enjoy his beautiful recitation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and protect him. He has been traveling around, MashaAllah, recently contacted me from Turkey with some beautiful brothers who follow our Fajr Reflection. So we want to say to those brothers, MashaAllah, the doctor and his brother Ashraf, inshaAllah ta'ala, we want to say to them from the home of Fajr Reflection, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They are in Turkey, inshaAllah ta'ala. So we'll see them one day, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair. Give salam to our beautiful Ustadh, MashaAllah.